got to the top of the hill and the lights changed. Recording wise, it's changed. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. You can hear the background noise more now, because where we were previously, all that was filtered out. The trees weren't reflecting the sound onto the microphone anymore. It was filtering the sound out. Now we're on the top. You got more background noise. But the light is very different. It's very blue. Well, it's getting blue light. But what with the photography consideration up here, William, what are the changes maybe in settings or considerations of taking photography in this changing light now?
Well, straight away you've got more available light, because the trees aren't creating a shadow or a cloak, as it were. I've got a lens which is 17 to 40 millimeter, which is a quite a wide landscape style lens. That's the type of photography that I particularly like. So the light here at the moment is perfect for that type of photography, really.
Okay, with the aperture, the smaller the number, the wider the aperture.
The wider the aperture, yes.
A lot of people don't realise that.
Yes. In fact, the camera that I've got at the moment, with the lens that I've got, I can go down to as wide as f4 and as narrow as f22. And the difference you'd notice straight away between an f4 and an f22 is how much is in focus. So if you take the aperture to be the size of your iris, so in a very dark situation your iris would be very wide because it's allowing more light into your eye, and in a light situation it's more narrow, it's letting less light into your eye so it doesn't damage your retina. So it's very similar to a camera shutter or to camera aperture. And you can use this to your advantage. In a darker situation, you can widen the aperture so it allows more light in, which means you can still keep your shutter speed as fast as you possibly can. Because shutter speed, especially when you're taking a photograph handheld, is really the king, if that makes sense. Because if you go anything below 1/100th of a second, or even you can shoot by hand 30th of a second, but 100th of a second is my rule of thumb. You can end up getting shake and you'd get a more blurred image. You can also use the aperture as an effect, because it creates this thing called depth of field. The wider the aperture, the shallower your depth of field is. So wherever you're focused on, anything behind that or anything in front of that is out of focus. And the narrower your aperture becomes and the higher the number is, you'll get more depth of field. But then you'd also have to think about the light at the same point. There's a great photographer, one of the greatest nature photographers, called Ansel Adams, who developed a group called the F64 group, and that's almost a pinhole camera. And he used to take his camera out, a large format camera. Large format is an old large format style, almost Victorian style film photography, into Yosemite National Park, and he got these photos that were pin sharp from foreground to background, from a tree that was 2 yards away to a mountain that was maybe 20 miles away. They would be in perfect sharpness. But he'd be on a tripod, he'd be doing exposures for up to half an hour. So there are a lot of considerations to take into consideration, or there's a lot of considerations to think of.
Ansel Adams was the guy who said you don't take photographs, you make them.
That's true, yes.
You're impressed, aren't you, that I know who Ansel Adams is?
In a way, but I think as in you're a nature person, you should know who your Ansel Adams is.
Yeah, okay. But where something you should know then, you come blackberrying up here to this
Yes.
little spot, and clovers. They say clovers have got 3 leaves, but if you can find a 4-leaf clover, you're lucky. This spot we're standing on, it's impossible not to find 4-leaf clover. Now, I don't know if that's botanically impossible, but it's possible here. In the summer, if you come up here, you will have a job to not find a 4-leaf clover.
And right now we have We can't see any at the moment, can we?
No,
It's
no.
all oak leaves.
Well,
on our
no,
feet.
there is some clover here. Look.
Yep. At the moment, it's 2 leaf. Oh no. Very
Well,
good.
it is 3.
That's a 3, is it?
Yeah, that is 3. But you can find 4-leaf clover up here if you come up in the summer.
So possibly the luckiest spot in Oxford.
Yeah, pretty much. But as the last consideration, I'd say for now we've come up on top of a hill, the key consideration for recording is a wind muffler. H4n, you need a wind muffler even on a still day for the internal mics because they'll pick up an ant breathing 10 miles away.
Yes.
You know, so you need. I don't know how you would describe this.
I've always thought it looks like Einstein's hair.
Yeah, pretty much Einstein's hair. But if you were using a shotgun mic, you definitely need a wind muffler up here. Whole different thing again. But you're going to take me now across the golf course down to the Lye Valley.
Indeed. Yes.
And do you do photography there a lot?
I do. Yes. I try to get over there as much as I possibly can do. It's sometimes quite muddy over there.
But what attracts you to that?
Partially due to my childhood.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that.
It was where I spent a lot of my childhood. A lot of my summer holidays, I'd be down there creating dams in the stream, and going down there a lot with my mum and my sister again. And yeah, it was a place to go, place to be quiet.
The stream there runs down from Shotover.
It does, yes.
Well, actually, I used to dam up the stream on Shotover, so if it ever
Yeah,
dried up down there, that was good me.
I used to do exactly the same thing. There's the clay bed at the top, isn't there?
Yeah, the
Or
sandpit.
the mud sand pit. That's the
Yeah.
one. That's the one.
So we used to call it a tsunami off the top of the hill when we were kids, because we used to dam it up for like 12 hours and then let it run.
Yep.
And it was just flood down.
That's what you do.
You know, I think everybody's done it. Okay, so we'll walk across the golf course and into the Lye Valley.